Hey everybody, welcome to another video. My name is Steve, and if you're new to my channel, we are now following the ownership experience of my brand new Cayman 718 GTS 4.0. Now I've owned this car now for a little bit over a month. I've done just under 1,000 miles, and most of those are commuter miles because at the moment life's kicking my backside a little bit and I've been really busy with work, and trying to do these videos in the evening has been difficult with the lack of daylight. Weekends being even more busy. So I am here now. We've got this walk around video to do. As you can see, we're doing it indoors. I'm trying to make an effort to get this one done while it's quiet, so let's see if we can get this filmed. The car has basically survived all right for the first 1,000 miles. I haven't had any problems. I'm not running into any build quality issues or anything like that, so let's see if we can have a walk around it and give you a good idea what it looks like on the spec that I bought. This is the car, and basically this is the Dolomite Silver. Now we've just got the I parked it right underneath the light to see if we can get a bit of light shining on it so you can see the colour change in it as we walk around. It's not natural light, but at least it gives you an idea of how it kind of shines and pops and changes colour in the different shadows. This has got a slightly bluer tint to it than, say, the GT Silver. That's more of a grey, deeper metallic, and I've actually taken to it quite well. I was a little bit worried about it when I first bought it, and I wasn't sure what it was going to be like, but as soon as I saw it at the dealer, I was more than happy with the choice that I made. So it's a little bit of a shame that they've discontinued this colour on the car unless you want to pay for the sort of Porsche exclusive paint finishes and change it yourself. But the first thing I was going to have a look at, because it was a thing that was going to bother me, was these open grills. Now obviously it's got the sports style GTS lower on here. So far those radiators seem to be holding up, and there isn't really any damage, and there's a little bit of a dead fly, but it seems to be all right. That was one of my main concerns with the front of that. I do know that you can't buy some third-party grills that you can put in there, so it starts to look like I'm getting any damage there. I may invest in those. They weren't that expensive. I believe there's something about £300 for a pair, but I could be wrong. The difference with my car to probably some of the other GTS 4 litres is I completely debadged mine. So as you can see, I did not get the vinyl stickers on the doorway there, and I also decided not to go with the badging on the back. Again, I just went with the standard GTS wheels in the black as they came. They're a little bit dirty there at the moment, but so far so good. I don't seem to have, well, touch wood, I haven't curbed them or scuffed them or anything. If we open the car up, so as you can see in here, I did not go with the multifunction steering wheel to be able to access the right hand screen and use the menus. We have got this handle down here, which if you've got a Cayman you'll be familiar with. If it's your first one, that's how you do it without the multifunction steering wheel. We have the standard finish on the dash insert, because I did not go with the GTS pack, which means I also don't have any contrast and stitching in here, but I did go with the split racetex seats, and I've got it on the center console, and the steering wheel, I didn't alter that at all. So coming in and sitting down, this is kind of the view that I've got. I still have yet to take this plastic off the screen, and I probably never will. I never took it off my 992, so whoever took possession of that car after they bought it got it with the plastic still on the screen that they could take off. And a sort of view into the back. So far I've really enjoyed owning this car. I haven't had any particular issues with it yet. There were some issues cropped up with my original 2 litre Cayman, so I'm going to have to basically keep an eye on that and see if it comes through. The things that I got additional on this car, well, one of them was the dimming mirrors, which I didn't realise. If you take a look on this dimming mirror, instead of having the flip on here that you would have on just a basic one, there's a button and you can press it and it will basically turn it into a green tint or not a green tint if you are running the car on a night time and you've got bright light shining on. And what I didn't realise was not only does the mirror do it, but the actual side mirrors do it as well, which is an absolute godsend, because I just thought it was going to be that mirror. Didn't really know that those two did it, or it was never fully explained to me that that was the case. And yeah, it's been a godsend so far, because I've basically took ownership of this car straight into the winter. We get the dark nights here, so in the morning to work I'm driving in the dark, on the night time I'm driving home in the dark, and everybody's lights are ridiculously bright, so not having to deal with that anymore has been brilliant. The other thing that came with the dimming mirrors was the automatic wipers. Now that sensor, something I'm getting used to. I've never really had automatic wipers on any of my cars, and it sometimes goes a little bit crackers. It has been raining quite hard here, and it has been raining quite light here, and it can do that at the drop of a hat in the UK. So sometimes it's made them go like wiper hyper, you know, like full blow, and sometimes it's been drizzling and it hasn't done anything at all, and I don't know whether it's dirt or whether it just hasn't quite hit the sensor yet, which means that they haven't reacted to the rain. But it's something I'm getting used to, and they are starting to work. I am starting to leave it in the automatic position, and I think it's something that I will just basically leave on in the future once I get my head around it. Now, outside of that, the one other thing that's on this car that comes as part of the spec of this car is the Sports Chrono. Now, in terms of the Sports Chrono, I have been using it. The lack of sport button, which would usually be here, is now a right turn on the wheel with the Sports Chrono. So yes, I've been using that. I haven't really used Sports Plus. I did put it in Sports Plus once, but it was a little bit too aggressive for my commute to work. So when I get the opportunity to go out a little bit more in it, I will make an effort to try and put it in the different modes, possibly do a video on it and see if I can give any positive feedback over now having it on a car where I didn't have it previously. Other than that, let's start the car up and see what you think of it. So I'll open the door and see if we can get a little bit of cold start up on there. Oh, it's definitely a louder car than any of the ones I own, especially compared to the normal C2992 that I had. If I give it a little bit of rev while it's still in cold start. I'll let it settle down and let it go back to idle and see what it sounds like there too. There we go, it's just backed off into idle, so hopefully it came across on the microphone quite well. But it is a very nice sounding car, and I have, obviously once you put it in sport, it kicks in that sports exhaust when you're driving, and you do get quite an aggressive sound out, and it does make a note change when you have got it active. The only other thing that I got on this car that I should be able to show you, but I have felt like I'm having a little bit of an issue with, is the folding mirrors. So there's two ways around this. Inside the car, obviously we have the button to fold the mirrors in, and they will fold in as long as you've got the key in the ignition. So we turn it on and then we fold them. You can see we get them folded, fold them back out again, or when we're locking the car, I shut it. This worked on the 992 as well, and it's a functionality that's supposed to come with it, but if you hold down the lock button, it should fold in the mirrors once the car locks. You really have to press the button down and hold it. So basically that is a quick walk around that car. That's me showing you a couple of the little extras that I added on, because I didn't really add that many. The only other thing I think I added on that I had to pay for on this but got changed after I spec'd this car was the air compressor and the tyre sealant, which I had to pay £42 for, but then they added it back on the spec when they changed it and updated it and increased all the prices. So swings and roundabouts. But yeah, the only other thing I think I could probably tell you is I did do a little check on my mileage. So although you have the mileage average calculator thing obviously with inside the PCM like you get on most cars, I tend to do a one based on how I filled up the car, and I filled it from just a little bit over the red bar at the bottom, and it was 51 litres to fill the car up. So I brimmed it, 51 litres, I'd done 246 miles. So when you work that out here in the UK at mile per gallon, it's 22 mile per gallon according to an internet calculator. Don't quote me on that, could be wrong, but that is what I worked out while using it. So yeah, I mean, I would say that was a case of more urban than less combined. I've been doing a lot of short distance commuting. Basically the car was getting warm by the time I was turning it off when I got to work, which is a bit of a bummer. I really do need to get out on some longer drives soon, but hopefully the weather will hold up. Hopefully I'll be able to get out, put some videos in with some car driving, and we will get a little bit more content delivered on this new GTS. I hope anybody that's waiting for their car is getting more news on what's going on, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.